Well, good morning as we're sitting here at LTV on this beautiful Friday morning, April 5th, year 2024, here with the Hello Hello Show. And my name is Haim Mizrahi, continuing with the tradition of public access and the tradition of the Hello Hello Show that's been on the air since 1980. Of course, not to fail to mention the contribution by Fraser Dougherty, and of course, the likes of you out there to make it your business to enhance and fortify this wonderful concept called public access, stretched through the communities of the United States of America to form this wonderful stage of coherence and of course, occasional eruption of all this wonderful human goodness that we have to offer to one another, to planet Earth, and to life itself. So, one step at a time, we're reaching heights that are incredible and depths that are formidable, and also just self discovery by way of really, how should I put it, yielding themselves to us, to be molded as our artistic demeanor dictates. So, of course, uh, if you watch me now and then or on any kind of regular basis, you would know that I talk about the same things, and maybe now and then just like add a little different style to to my expressional capabilities. But one and the same is the process that provides us with an identity, or at least an opening to figuring out who we are, how we're doing emotionally and spiritually and technically speaking, just kind of by way of being functioning individuals. And in doing so, of course, setting the perimeters by which this wonderful structure not only will reside and exist, but also will flourish. And that level of flourishing and I don't know what else we can call it, that kind of growth of wonder and wondrous growth, and on top of it you put that crown of expression where you can have the words floating and sentences and all this. I learned long time ago, and maybe long before I even ever dared to paint one painting, because I was scared, as I should have been, and concerned and doubtful about myself. I mean, when it comes to, but it never really came to me because I never had any aspirations to become a painter. I just was preferring to choose the artistic path in any way or shape or form that I'm capable of recognizing and wanting to be a part of. Not necessarily being able to be one of the members, but more one of the observers. Yeah, I remember my days here in the east end of Long Island in the 80s and 90s where I used to go to openings. For me, weekends, galleries and openings and artists was really important, really, really important. Most of which I really couldn't understand why so much. I understand my love and attraction to arts and all this, but it was really, really, really important to me to go, to attend, to see, not having a clue. I mean, yeah, I was playing the drums. I'm a musician. Yeah, I write poems. I guess I can consider myself somewhat of a poet, walking around thinking about poetry or thinking about life in a poetic fashion. But circling the crisscrossing the galleries in this community of ours that happens to be, to begin with, some kind of a shrine, um, a very quiet center by which and through which and due to people are getting inspired and getting to be able to use a point of reference where they can understand how they can or are positioning themselves to um, to maybe believe that they can bypass or avoid some difficulties or obstacles that we can do without, and they're not really necessary to go through the entire struggle and what would contribute to the process itself. But and identifying what is just pure and simple burden, and maybe just kind of put it aside, and being able to clean your immediate vicinity makes you, experience that feeling of being liberated, liberation in that process that didn't even began yet, and you already feel exhausted, and you wonder how come. But then you realize that the emotional undercurrent is something that ferments and ferments and build up and accumulates and adds, and it's got to go somewhere. And then you find out that you maybe not the person to deal with these accumulations that are taking place and took place thanks to you. So very confusing, but your desire to just continue to be the artist that you are is a good one, is a constructive one, is an appealing one, is a powerful one. um Whatever it is that's coming out at you, you being one is a credential. Is You will get like a moment of pause where you can actually be the first one to react. And then from that feeling comes the reaction that really builds up an additional parallel reality. And this one is the one that you can have serve the to benefit the cause. It will be something that it will be determined by it itself, being granted independence, for not a complete independence, but independence in moments, crucial moments where one needs to make decisions. And we can, you cannot wait for a second signature. So some exceptions to the rule are taking place, and then this way you feel like, okay, you know what? With these changes, I believe that I can actually handle it. I can do a high degree. Promise you that probably it will go incidentless, incidentless. It will be most probably delivered as by the dude that I have just suggested. Now, this is a dialogue that you have vis-a-vis a quiet monologue within you, and because you're already accustomed to that, whereas other people would think, what the heck is going on? And for you, it's a stage for growth, a stage for further understanding and deeper, uh, 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 maybe layers that it doesn't shorten the journey, but it gives you more of a kind of routes to take that can allow you to feel at ease while you're actually engaged and involved in incredible things that you cannot just like be relaxed going through it. Not that that this has to be bad or good. It's just the intensity of it require you, and it requires you. It's just like you need to be around. It's just like having kids in this world. Yeah, you can divorce, you can separate. That's like that's cruel. That's um, reckless. That's irresponsible. If you want to have a family, you want to have a family. You want to have an understanding that you got to be there, and she's got to be there. The couple, the mama, the papa, the husband, the wife, they got to be there. They must be there. They must be there. Yeah. Well, they can choose not to be there, and then what happens? It's chaos. That not only that will need to resolve the chaos in order to step out of it, you need to guarantee that it's not seeping through your system to affect you emotionally for the rest of your life. And all you wanted to be, and all you want to be, and all you most probably will be, was to just be an artist that happens to be active in the medium or the mediums that he or she have at their disposal. Now that's a task and a half. Even myself, to a certain degree, that I think that I'm pretty active and pretty decent in my attempt to not disappoint those who wants to choose to come and check my art and experience that. But also that quality and maybe uniqueness can also be delivered while I am at it. But even in those mediocre moments uh, where uh, nothing that one would want to write home about really took place. I'm talking about my journey, my early journey, and maybe even the recent experiences. Is that in the center of that which is taking place, whichever one it is out of the group that we're aware of, very much so, and of its contents, there's a moment of greatness that is being revealed by actually people approaching you and say, listen, there is a painting here that is so exquisite, so exquisite. It just makes me happy. I heard that more than once. I, I didn't hear people come and tell me that I'm the best thing that ever happened in the world, and I didn't hear them saying it to another artist. It's just a, a readiness on the behalf of those who came out and made it their point to come and attend, that found themselves actually taking you aside and saying, thank you, thank you. I heard many times people say thank you. At first, it, I couldn't quite understand it. Of course, I understand when people are grateful. It was just like I wasn't I wasn't seeing myself ever. I had to think about myself. And then I realized I got to the conclusion that actually I don't even recall ever really going to any art shows until a certain point. And at the end, going to the artist and saying thank you. I would go to the artist and say your work is wonderful, or it affects me greatly, and this and that. But say thank you. And then I realized thank you is the most, is the first and foremost. Uh, Now all I do is thank you. I go to an exhibition, uh, no matter what the art is, no matter what the reservations and the effect and the level of satisfaction or otherwise, I would always approach the artist and say, thank you. Of course, thank you. Of course. Thank you for spending that much time in the studio. Thank you for going through what you had to go through emotionally and spiritually and socially, to bring yourself to the point that you can create and create what you create here. Look, you have been presenting here a full body of work, and as my memory serves me right, not too long ago, you made it your business also to take a full body of work and bring it into the exhibition, just like nothing happened. And yes, yes, thank you for being willing, and thank you for acting upon that desire and that whatever level of conviction that you operate on, that actually make sure that you reach the right doorstep and make sure that you actually make the first step inward. Thank you. Thank you for the unlimited kind of obstacles that abruptly show up on your path, and somehow you find a way, the courage, the strength, the patience, the attention to, I wouldn't say press on, I would say just doing what's right, doing the right thing to do, and knowing what the right thing to do is, and acting upon it, and over again, needing to do so many things to make sure and uh, and guarantee some kind of um, a stability and predictability of and expectations of power and strength and being able to deliver. I remember what did they say? Here they say, um, I have the money. Um, can you do the job? Um, yeah, all about, yeah, well, actually, I can do it, but can you pay for it? More like it. Okay, I can do it. I can deliver, but can you afford it? And the other side would say, well, don't rush to react, because what it is that I'm suggesting really is maybe I just want to make sure that you understand the extent of it is guaranteeing that level of zealousness and dedication and conviction that I see now in you, and that it gives me all the reasons to believe that you are the one that I want to choose. You're the one that I want to have alongside me for many reasons. But that this will continue to be the way I witness it to be now. That's first of all, it needs work. First of all, it needs all the things that it needs that I know that you have within you available. But the thing is, how are you going to feel then? What kind of moods and mood swings are you going to go through as a human being? And that suddenly these equations of numbers and compositions and architecture and whatever it is, and crisscrossing over crisscrossing, and then suddenly you must give answers. You must give answers. Even if you were to utilize artificial intelligence to work for you, still you're going to have to make it work for you. Give it commands to work for you. Give her instructions and point of references and whatnot, even though supposedly will do all the work for you. So thank you for also being generous enough to believe that to continue the interactions with people and directly and indirectly creating those friendships and having people feel at ease in your company, in your presence, and they know that you had one or two incidents where you impressed everyone around, So some level of camaraderie kicks in as a. But I still want to thank you. I want to thank you for being here and making it look like you're not the one who did the work. You look so fresh and rested. And God bless, because we know the secrets lie behind. I mean, they're just like taking it easy behind that level of complexity that eventually is on display, and that it is on display as we speak, as I speak to you about you, as I speak about you. And I want to thank you for influencing and maybe affecting my footsteps to finally reach this outlet vis-a-vis entering this realm the way that I did, and it happens to be you that actually uh, my interpretations of that, what it really takes by way of numbers and level of responsibility is nothing less than incredible. You made it happen. You made it look easy on top of it. I thank you for that. I thank you for deciding to engage yourself in certain things that cannot produce anything but that which is good. And as cliche as I can be, I don't mind being cliche. Speaking of love, and yes, but there's no way that you can speak of love and not be somewhat, cliche and maybe more cliche than you would like to be. But then you find yourself in a moment of very unusual silence. But you know that all the information is still filtering, and you don't even bother to want to find whether it is or not, as you know, for a high degree of certainty that indeed it is in motion, it is active as we speak. And what happens is that we find ourselves into that process, maybe justifyingly so vulnerable, or vulnerable justifyingly so, and exposed, and maybe with some doubts, some, just the usual regular things that you if you are who I think you are, it won't derail or delay or slow you down, or make you lose focus of what the message is all about, or the vision. I want to thank you for whether you know aware of it, or you don't know, you're not even aware of it, for your vision, for you putting together a vision. Achieving that vision or not, that's secondary to the importance of actually putting one together, because I know personally firsthand what it really takes to to, to put this together. and to make sure. Yes, you know what? Make sure. So what did I say earlier? Um, um, how should I put it? Thank you, thank you. Well, okay, let me continue with the list of thank you. So I find myself there, and I approach the artist, and I thank the artist because the artist is me, and I am the artist that happens to be the artist of themselves, and therefore of each other's. And you know what? It's 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 that level of safety where you find yourself actually, and it's actually very very interesting that you find yourself actually mingling in a way that the atmosphere, the general atmosphere, suggests that now it's the pros that are steering the ship. Now there's this different kind of a feeling attached for those who hold the steering wheel, and and with the navigation and with the vision, with the accurate and mathematical and also uh, psychological and philosophical and religious, and God has His own place in that equation. I mean, of course, I mean, if you're anything in life, you have to include that reality that, oh my God, maybe I need to thank my Creator, because obviously I'm not even near capable of doing what the Creator that happens to create me can do. I mean, I don't go there. I never did. I never will probably. It's too out of reach, but not because of the level of difficulty in the attempt to reach, because the calculation of the distances are standing in the way of those who cannot find a way to actually eliminate the effect of distances and understanding what is like a far, far, far away. And so you feel like already intuitively that it's so far, 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 far away that it's already on its way back. And on its way back, it must go through your whatever space that you occupy on this planet. It will have to go through it. So that's a fantastic thing to know. And I won't even be uh, so predictable by saying, and you know what, and I'll be ready because I'm going to be working on it, and I'm going to be catching up. I'm going to increase and enhance my awareness to any kind of any kind of changes that are taking place, and I'm not going to leave anything to chance, and I'm just going to be ready. Well, I'll try to be ready, and as difficult as it may be, I will continue to try very hard to be ready, and to actually realize that I am readier every time I go to check how ready I am. And you know what? And as much as it is fiction, it really fortifies the concept of understanding reality as a solid, present thing, substance, matter, um, with such high degree of sensibility, that this thing, this matter, just to have a complete human demeanor. Uh, so anyway, so of course that can lead us to 100 different speculations that we can afford and allow ourselves to go there because we know it's going to be brief. Whereas before, you wouldn't want to go there because it's just feel like every time that engagement takes place, you kind of find yourself down, deep down, because you didn't have the understanding of the immediate infrastructure that to say, oh, all this goodness, hey, all this negativity, hey, all this positivity. And then you realize it doesn't matter the nature of things. It matters that is there a stage that can hold everyone here or what? Because more often than not, you find yourself, this ramp is going to collapse. People are going to get hurt, and it will put an end to it, to whatever gathering was there, instantly. So, and then the most important thing suddenly becomes the most unimportant thing in the list of what you want to say first. The session, the speech, the breakthrough of daring to think, uh, not outside the box. Just think, and when you're done thinking, you start thinking all over again, as you're always thinking about the thing that leads you to a conclusion that requires you to open up even further. So it's I couldn't say more than what I am left with once this demeanor wears off. Even though I know, even though when it's taking place, then I actually borrow a costume that I need to use for a certain act or in a certain purpose or a certain, and I'm done with it at some point, and I'm definitely not going to throw it to the garbage. I'm going to kind of turn back and go to the right place that I can drop it off. Maybe someone else can do something with it. Maybe it's valuable. I'm sending it back to the system, and and then um, your vision uh, finds a way to kind of do self cleaning. Maybe giving us as people a little break, because the system is can kind of take care of itself a little better, sparing us from rushing to see what's what every time there's a call, there's a need. So suddenly this sense of liberation, minute yet profound and meaningful, that little bit suddenly becomes uh, uh, upon immediate uh, contemplations, it's just a huge, wide thing in front of you. A complete story, beginning, middle, and end. And then you realize things are getting done. You really feel like you want to hold and stop everything for a second and say, what's really going? How come it's going on? How come this? Not important what this is. How come this is happening continually and constantly, and not just like because it has something that causes it to just do this. It's really a human, with all the human values pasted uh, around it, and quickly enough becomes a part of it, and quickly enough becomes meaningful, and quickly enough picks up so many fragments that in themselves, each one of them is a whole story in itself. It's a whole entity. Is a whole thing that's breathing, that's anchoring, that's influencing, that's in motion, and that changes all the time. But the need for a vision is one and the same, never wavering, never changing, never increasing, never decreasing. Just it is what it is. And it's constant in the fact that it wants us to know more and more, more and more, that we're better that we're better off with it than without it. Because we're gonna get all this boost of energy, uh, always. Might sound a little too much, I agree. But then maybe 30% of it is when exactly you need it. It's just amazing. I was once in front of a canvas, and it was a big canvas, and I had everything ready, brushes and everything ready. I had music playing. I had an iPad that had, if I was to say, 5 years worth of playing music 24/7 on all aspects of music that human being has ever dared to create and record, right there, and I can just indulge in deciding whatever it is that I want, whatever it is, whatever style. And then I have this a sizable white space canvas in front of me with all the respect. It was well made, the stretcher, the canvas, all these kind of brushes, nothing to write home about, but brushes that work for me. Plenty of them, really plenty. Maybe 30, 40 brushes, and then open cans in different sizes, different pigments, different colors. And yeah, methodic, but willing and ready to expose myself to the to the you know wababam and 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 going berserk over that, uh, uh, anything that dares to show a surrealistic face or suggestion or gesture, and we're just like uh, fully expanded to address what in the past, in the not so distant past, we were able to think and to feel, but we weren't able to do something about it as frequently and as easily and simply that we can do it today. So yeah. Oh, oh, so maybe I should put some music and I'll come. Okay, great. Okay, that's I need. Uh, um, I'm gonna do this just because I have to pick up some art that they're. I was just wanted to mention that we're here on Friday morning, April 5th, year 2024, here with the Alola Show, and my name is Haim Mizrahi, and I'm actually finding it very entertaining to be able to express so much. And we're having all this art by Frank Sofu that's being delivered right now that I'm going to curate and I'm going to hang in the next couple of days. And it's going to be on display for 4 weeks. Frank Sofu here at LTV. Beyond awesome. I love it. So let's do some music. Miles Davis, how about that? You know? Okay. Okay, here we go. That's fantastic, isn't it? Isn't it fantastic? I love it. That's like we got everything we need. So as I said, we're putting together a show with Frank Sofol's work, and that's to say the least humbling, and also a sense of exhilaration to show his work. He passed away not too long ago, a very prominent member of this community and a great artist. So yeah, we feel happy that we can do that, and here with LTV in the last 26 years, we have uh, the privilege to share with the public the space available, showing art, and of course now all these wonderful activities of music and theater, and really becomes an incredible, powerful um, contributor and factors of the artistic, theatrical, musical uh, realities unfolding here on a regular basis. So here with the Hello Show, also I always think about Fraser Doherty, lived to be 101. God bless his soul. A wonderful individual, a blessed, powerful member of the community, and it just how can I put it? Um, Something that has a life of its own, and we feel that we understand the ins and outs, so we get to enjoy it on more than one level, and we suddenly find out that it's a great privilege um, to have that available. We took it for granted, and then we're realizing we're not surprised we're taking it for granted because it's just like so much a giving of a part of our lives. But I wanted to go back to the thank you for taking it to the level that you did, because it shows. And thank you for hanging in there, uh, uh, having that incredible, how should I call it, factor that finds itself maybe becoming an important point of reference for others, for all I know. So, it's just like so I wanted to go back. So I said, and I told you, thank you. And I thanked you, rightfully so, that I should thank you. And then must share with you that the last gathering that I attended, that you were responsible for, was powerful. And I don't think I will ever forget that. I heard that a lot. I swear to you, I heard that a lot. I don't think I will ever forget this exhibition. Uh, and then years later, I will come to you and tell you, remember in 1919, whatever, that I came to your exhibition. And remember that? I remember. And then you start, and I start telling you all the details. And you're stunned, like, what? Yes. You say, what? And I say, yes, of course. Yeah. The You just leave no choice in the hands of people but to admire your journey, your work, and not that you seek admiration. It's just that it's just a technically speaking mathematical uh, answer, description of location, and always being able to verify. Yes, every time you sent for a request for verification, it was received. It was always verified. And he was like, "What? Really?" Yeah. Why? Because it's real. Why? Because you helped me handle it correctly. And therefore, I please you with my knowledge and with my awareness and, and maybe high level of dedication in, in, in in being participating. So you feel like you don't have to ask the questions anymore because you see me participate all the time, and there's something to be said about it. I think that once I didn't understand it this way, once I thought like, oh, give me a friggin' break. How much can one participate? How much can one participate? It's like, wait a second, wait a second, and I I think it's fair enough to say that the conditions for this wonderful society of ours to thrive and to grow and to stabilize and to add all this meaning and meaningful stuff and meaning and meaningful meaning and meaning meaningfully and all that for real is it's challenging, it's demanding, it's like it's doable, we got all it takes, thank god we got all it takes. We definitely have uh, that gaining thickness in that immediate zone called the infrastructure of our mind, of our hearts, of our feelings, of our uh, attitude, of our point of reference, of our observing skills, about so much. And um, all you wanted to know is that you can allow yourself to admire others, especially those who just, I don't know, were lucky enough to just make a decision or find themselves in a situation where they're actually a part of it for good, creating, contemplating, guessing, second guessing, experimenting, applying, putting together, and reintroducing, reinstalling, reintroducing, and also just in the midst of all that, just plain and simple doing that which you do the best. You're just creating, you're just painting, you're just playing music, you're just writing poetry and this wonderful poem that every few minutes comes out of your system, and it's just like where well, saying that it dissipates into the thin air actually means becoming fortified in the um, point of impact immediately, in the immediate point of impact, immediately forming already its destined final configuration. That's, if that's not magic, I don't know what is. What's so magical about it is that we actually can trigger it to show its face and to reveal its existence only while we are in the heat of creation, while we are in that natural environment where we know that only creations are taking place there and unfolding. That's that's a lot. That's a lot. So you want to be able to say, well, okay, you know what? Okay, I got it. But I'm scared. Maybe I'm kind of going to find myself where I'm like, 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 like I'm worshiping. I suddenly the word worship uh, is stuck there. You can't kind of get rid of it. But you actually want to say, I admire with this admiration. It's getting to a point where it's coming together with that to create a firmer surface that through which you can really gather your thoughts and deliver some kind of a conclusion that serves immediately as a point of reference, and then it allows you to get back to it later. Don't worry about it. This is already being considered laying the foundation sufficiently enough for you to get a break and say, don't worry. When you get back, when you have a little more time, you can come and re-enter, and it will be ready for you exactly as is. So that's probably one of the most precious, important things in the world that can ever happen to you creatively. If we were to say, we got you covered. You can leave now. Come back later. When later? Later is later. The system is compatible, so when you will show your face again, it will cater not to your needs. It will cater to you because your needs are. I mean, you you you're coming back as the creator of that matter and substance that you want to take part in and adapt. So you're adapting. You're really adapting yourself again. But you can do that without allowing too much philosophy to grind and shake the surface more than necessary. Truly, that's what's taking place. Rocking the boat unnecessarily. It can be fun for a couple of minutes, but rocking the boats never endingly. I mean, give me a break. So yeah, you can achieve a lot, by the way, even if you like going through the roughness of it rather than uh, the opposite, which is doable. Obviously, it's doable, but you uh, you can achieve it. But you can achieve it. You can get to the point where you achieved everything, and you're so friggin' torn to pieces and exhausted on so many levels, and maybe you keep a straight face and no one can see it and you look like you're anchored in this. Okay, fine, good for you. But the thing is, it's just this level of really, 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 what the heck is going on? I mean, look at this person. Look at this person. He's willing and ready and ripe to just drop now and fall apart to 1,000 pieces. And that's that. But yeah, if you're going to stand there and look at him and expect that this is going to happen in front of your eyes, you better think again because you're going to be sitting there waiting for nothing to happen. That individual has the skills to keep a straight face and still not lose track of the importance because his level of knowledge is incredible enough to allow him to be weird sometimes. It cannot get into a reality of contemplating, second guessing. I don't even want to say the master because it's way more than just a master. Like I don't think I'm going to find myself second guessing, opening up, drawing attention. Ooh. So it's like no, 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 no. I know better. What awaits me there from where I just came from, to which I'm going to go back very soon, as it's going to happen back and forth all the time. I'll, I promise you that whatever it is that now I express to you or describe to you, this is going to go and be considered as gold, as pure gold in the safety zone of my shrine, of my studio, of my recording session. Implementation is the name of the game constantly, and um, And you can do it over and over again with the few that you have only, with one also. You can do it over and over and over and over and over and over again. It can last you forever. One incident, one feeling, one point of reference, one suggestion, one idea. Yeah. So that's why I admire you, and then maybe I, adore you and admire you and look up to you, and suddenly I'm like, uh, worship you, because your level of excellence is so consistent, so far away from my capability to actually, if I was ever to desire to do what I enjoy so much now, done by others. I don't even really have enough room to say that I can just barely make it. That's why, by the way, I chose the way where I can really experiment, meaning when I was in the process of dedicating myself to the world of music, when I was in my, late teens and early 20s, and it was all of my friends around, we were all dedicated every waking hour. You're studying, you're learning, you're teaching, you're playing, you're rehearsing, you're practicing, then I realized, wait a second, yeah, this is great, but I don't think I can make it. I think I can make it being a wonderful mediocre result of this whole. Whew. And I said, I don't like that, even though it was a lot. I don't like that. Look, what we're doing is in order to achieve excellence. That's like 98% out of 100, but not 87. Not, no, no. So immediately I grabbed that which was available to me that I knew I can handle, and I have enough knowledge in handling it that I can really trust myself that if it was to start the new journey with this, I will prevail. And not only did it happen exactly as I anticipated it would happen, it was so much more by way of that moment is giving you so much control, or at least options and choices and opportunities to gain control more so than you have now. That happens to be a lot. Now that was really attractive, and with that, actually, I'm not so sure I should get into it because they forget about it. Let's just say I love you very much, and as I say, I mean, there's so much that we can sit here and make sense about and not, and and just let it take over and then claim it back and then saying that we're going to be here tomorrow as much as we were here yesterday and as much as we were here this morning. April 5th, year 2024, Friday morning, here with the Hello Hello Show at LTV, the East End of Long Island. And keep up the good spirits. We are actually in the process of hanging Frank Sofo's work that passed away not too long ago, a wonderful member and artist of this community. And so he's going to be on display through the first week of May here at LTV Studios. We love you. Take care. Thank you for your patience. We'll see you soon.